This module of Inventor will include instruction on how to create a sweep, a loft, and a coil. Use of the sweep and the loft command are easy ways of making complex shapes, and so that is why the sweep and loft command are used to create asymmetrical objects, things like that. So we'll start by moving our cursor to the upper left portion of the screen. We'll left click on New, and we'll wait for it to find the Create File dialog box, and there it is. We'll left click on Standard Inventor Part, Create, and once it gets loaded we'll left click on Start 2D Sketch. We'll move our cursor to the front plane, XY plane, left click once. Then we'll move our cursor to the rectangle command. We'll left click on Rectangle, and we're going to put the corner of that rectangle right on the origin. We'll left click right there on the origin. Once you see the green dot, we'll drag a box up. Then we'll right click, left click on OK. I'm going to push the mouse wheel down and just pan it down a little bit. Then we'll move our cursor up to Dimension. We'll left click on Dimension. We'll left click on the right side line. Drag the dimension out. It'll be hooked to the cursor, and we'll enter a 3. And then we'll wheel it out, pan it back over, and we'll left click on the top line. We'll enter a 2. Then we'll right click, left click on OK, right click again, finish 2D sketch. Then we'll wheel it out a little bit, and then we'll pan it over. Then we're going to move our cursor over here to the part tree in this little folder where it says Origin. Right next to the folder is a little plus sign. We're going to left click on that, expand that. Then we're going to move our cursor down these planes, and we're going to look and see which one would have a sweep line. So if we put a sweep line on the XY plane, that's not really going to work because that's the plane we constructed the original sketch on. A sweep line on the XZ plane, that's not really going to work either for what we have in mind. So the YZ plane is where we're going to insert a new sketch. So we'll move our cursor over it in the tree. I'm going to right click, left click on New Sketch. Now I want the previous view. I liked that, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to left click on Previous View. Then we'll move our cursor up to the Line command. We'll left click on Line. We'll move our cursor to the corner of the box that intersects the planes. When that green dot appears, we'll left click one time, and we'll just drag out some lines here. We'll left click and then right click, OK. Now if we want to dimension those lines, we'll left click on Dimension. We'll move our cursor right on the line and we'll left click once. Now that's a horizontal or vertical dimension. If we want a line dimension, while the dimension is hooked to the cursor, we right click and left click on Aligned. Now it will be aligned. We can enter, we'll say 7. And we'll left click on the next line, right click, Aligned. We'll enter 8, and then we'll left click on the last one, right click, Aligned, and we'll enter 10. Then we'll move our cursor up into the work area, right click, left click on OK, we'll right click again, finish sketch. Then we'll left click on the sweep icon, which is right under the Annotate. And this is going to sweep our box or sketch down that sweep line. So I'm going to move my cursor over the icon, left click once. When the sweep icon comes up, it's already found the profile. See how the profile is already highlighted and the profile icon is not selected. The path icon has been selected, which means it's waiting for me to designate what the path is. So I'm going to move my cursor over this line. I'm going to left click once, and we get a preview. So wheel it out and push it over a little bit, and I'm going to left click on OK. And now we have a sweep. We'll use the rectangle or the free orbit command. We'll rotate that around. Then we'll right click, left click on OK. Then we'll use the shell command to shell this out like a piece of rectangular steel tubing. So we'll left click on the shell command, which is just underneath the chamfer command. Left click once. I'm going to push the mouse wheel down and pan it over. So we left click on the front face. Then we use the free orbit icon. Rotate it around. Right click OK. Left click on the back. Then we left click on OK. We'll use the free orbit icon again. And I'll rotate it around and you can see that it is open inside there. Then we'll right click, left click on OK. Now we'll use the rectangular pattern command to create a series of holes on this right side. So first we need to put a sketch there and create one single hole. So I'm going to move my cursor over this surface. When it becomes highlighted, I'm going to right click one time. I'll left click on New Sketch. And we'll move our cursor over here. We'll zoom in. So I'm going to move my cursor up to the circle command. I'm going to left click one time. I'll left click on circle. And I'm going to right click, left click on OK, left click on dimension, left click on the edge of the circle. I'm going to enter 0.5. And I must have entered, oh, for some reason it moved, so we'll see if we can move it. Not sure why it did that. Then we will tie it down with some dimensions. So we'll left click, and I'm going to find the very end point here. And we'll put a 1. And then we'll get the end point again. And we'll do another 1. Then we'll right click, left click on OK. Right click again, finish sketch, and I'm going to zoom it up here a little bit. We'll left click on extrude, and we're going to do a cut, and we'll left click on OK. Then we'll use the rotate icon to rotate it around. Right click, left click on OK. I'm going to push the mouse wheel down and scan it over here. I like it offset just a little bit, kind of like that. And then we'll right click, left click on OK. Now we're going to use the rectangular pattern command, which is right here. I'll left click on rectangular pattern. I'm going to pan this over. The first thing it wants to know is, what are we going to pattern? Well, we're going to pattern this circle, so I need to move the cursor where it picks up just that circle and not the whole edge of the part. Then I'll left click on direction, and we'll left click on the top here, and we'll change the direction, flip it, and then direction 2, we'll left click on this direction, and we'll change that direction. Then we can put in the spacing, let's say 0.5 or 0.75, and we'll enter 0.75, and then we can put in the number of occurrences, and then we left click on OK, and now we've created a series of holes by using the rectangular pattern command. And this concludes this module on use of the sweep command and the use of the rectangular pattern command. The next module will include instruction on how to use the loft command, and the following module will include instruction on how to use the thread, how to create a coil.